Hey to all of the parents and expectant parents, and of course all of the woke moms out there. Today I want to talk about something called sleep therapy. Now I don't know if at some point you ever heard of this thing called letting your baby cry it out, where like you put them in their crib to sleep and then when they're crying you leave them, right? So I initially thought that's what sleep therapy is, that you leave a baby to cry it out and eventually they get used to that. But I am so terrified of inflicting any kind of fear or trauma or abandonment issues on my baby. So at one point I was introduced to Goodnight Baby, and they actually have sleep consultants. The first thing that stood out to me is that they said, listen, your baby at about 10 and a half months old should be sleeping completely through the night. And I was like, how's that possible? This guy wakes up 3 to 5, sometimes 7 times a night, and we need to give him a bottle or a dummy, or what we refer to as a dinky, to help him go back to sleep. That's very disruptive. I'm a working mom. You can imagine sometimes I have late nights and I have to keep getting up. So the first thing that they did is that they said, okay, cool, we're going to send you a series of questionnaires. Now, it was pages and pages of questionnaires. And much as you'll think, why is this so necessary? It really is necessary because they customize a program just for you. So series of questionnaires comes through and it asks you about your baby's feeds, how much milk they're drinking, is it breast milk, is it formula, where's the baby napping. I had to take photographs of my bedroom, which is where baby was sleeping initially. They even wanted to see pictures of how dark the room is when the curtains are closed. So it was a full in detail evaluation of where baby is at. And then, it was also addressing the issues of what kind of solids is your baby eating. And we were still kind of feeding him more pure, textured pureed food. So the first thing she did after she assesses all of the forms that have gone through, we sit now for a consult. And the consult includes everybody that is a part of taking care of the baby. So that's also nanny, granny can also be involved. We sit for the consult and she'll talk about, okay, your baby's waking up too many times a night, feeds at night are not necessary. She explains the science and the biology behind the types of sleep cycles the baby goes through. So the rapid eye movement, the REM, where they're more like that first level of sleep where it's easy for them to wake up, versus the deep sleep where you literally can carry and put down a sleeping baby and they don't even notice that they're asleep. So she explained all of the science as to where baby is developmentally. But more importantly, she explained why sleep is so important. So one of the things that she shared is some babies are completely underslept, but we wouldn't even know, right? And what this can do to babies, it affects their appetite, it affects their energy levels, but also, can you imagine a tired baby who's like crawling or learning to walk around is more susceptible to getting injured because they become a bit more clumsy. And I thought to myself, this was such a mind-blowing, mind-opening moment of things that I'm like, wow, these are things that we have never been exposed to or introduced to. I even remember when I was first speaking to my mom about it, she's like, no, you guys, we just put you down, we carry you and put you down to sleep, we give you, I'm like, okay, but now we're parenting from the woke perspective, we're being conscious parents, we want to know and understand why we do certain things and why certain things work. So the first thing she said is, we're going to put baby on a 2 nap cycle, because baby was napping about 3 times a day. And mind you, we were following baby's flow. We would wait for baby to cry for food and then we give him food. So we didn't even have a set routine, though that was always the goal. And when I'd search online for routines, it just didn't work for our baby. So now it was like, okay, cool. The first thing we're going to do is put him on a 2 nap cycle. And she would explain, he will nap this time to this time in the day. When he wakes up, he's going to have his bottle, of which he needs to be having between 150 mils and 180 mils. And then he would have his day, and then it would be lunch or supper. And then he'd have a very specific bedtime routine that is starting at 6:30. That includes bath, bedtime story, singing lullaby, give baby a massage, and then get him to sleep. So one of the things I need to share with you. So we, guys, especially as black people, we love thick blankets. This is the first thing that had to go, is the blanket had to go because it's actually not safe. There's something called SID that they talk about, sudden infant death. And she was explaining to us about some of the dangers that can happen in baby's sleep area. And we used to fill his sleep area with teddies and toys just so if he wakes up, he can have something to play with. But the first thing we had to do is clear his cot. The second thing, we had to buy this, it's like a sleeping bag, if I'm to explain it that way. But baby goes into this and you zip him shut inside this warm little sleeping bag. It comes in different thicknesses called togs. I only just discovered that even duvets have tog numbers. So this is 2.5 tog. It's a thicker winter one. The reason being, and it made sense to me, my baby doesn't like being restrained. So whenever you put a blanket on him, he'd immediately kick it off and then get cold in the middle of the night. This way, he is cozy and warm the whole night. The next thing that she did, which was the biggest one, is to ask, do you want baby to full-time be in your room with you? Or do you want baby to eventually sleep alone? Like, definitely want baby to eventually sleep alone in his own room. And the advice was, if that's the case, let's do the sleep training with him in his room, because after a year old, they become more conscious to you trying to take them out of the room. They become more aware and maybe might feel like, my parents are kicking me out of the bed or the bedroom. So we moved baby to another room. The next thing we had to do was get proper blackout curtains. Online you can find sheets that you can put on the windows so that when baby naps during the day, the room can be super dark, and at night the room can be, super dark. And that's very helpful for babies to sleep, because keep in mind, they don't know what day and night is. So you're helping them adjust and learn to do that. Then, so routine was changed. His bath time became a specific time. Every time he would eat would become a specific time. We even got sent info of the type of solids and foods that are good for baby sleep. Think about melatonin, the sleep hormone. Think about all of those things. So for example, baby's not supposed to be having fruit after 2 p.m. because fruit can take long to digest, and it's also a sugar, and it affects his sleep. So you can imagine these were massive changes. On top of that, baby was so used to having a dummy, and I'm gonna be honest, we also were kind of like lazy in the sense that it's just easy to put it in his mouth when he's crying, as opposed to, trying to explore what's the issue. And what I've noticed now on the other side is he doesn't need his dummy during the day because he's not irritable and tired and just constantly crying. Now he's fully energetic, and much as I felt like we could start weaning him off of his dummy now, we were advised that there's too many changes. The dummy we can get rid of by the time he's 2. Even dentists advise by 2 the dummy needs to go. So we have all of these changes. We prepared the room, and it took a few days because we had to order stuff. I ordered a diffuser that we could put calming like lavender and chamomile oils in, just to make the room all nice. We have a humidifier. We have a heater because it's been chilly. So the humidifier can just make sure that the air is moist. Got massage oils for the baby, different brands that we're using, and I'll use another video to talk about all the types of brands that we're using for him. And we even got bath salts for him. So at night, come time that it's 6:30, having had his supper at 5:30 and a bottle before bed, 6:30 comes, it's bath time, we start winding down, the lights get dim, and then you give him his massage, all of those things, read a book, and you put him in his bed. Now, I'm summarizing something that took a while for us to get to this point. Because he was so used to falling asleep in someone's arms or on someone's back, we're now teaching him to fall asleep on his own, which meant putting him in his crib and assuring him that you're right here and right next to him. And listen, the first few nights, I have to be honest, I cried, listened to my baby crying, and you are not really supposed to be carrying him. But obviously, mom's instinct, you'll know when your baby needs to be carried. But what this stage taught us is that sometimes we interrupt the baby. As in the middle of the night when baby cries, you hear a sound and you immediately jump. Whereas babies are busy sleepers. Sometimes they make a sound in their sleep and then you jump to tend to him or her and he actually wasn't even awake, and then you are waking him up. So we had to learn to say, okay, give baby 5 to 10 minutes, see what he's doing, listen to the cries. Is he just complaining? Is he just finding his way? Or is he crying? And this is an important stage, is having to be like, actually he's okay on his own. Gradually each night we'd move further and further away from the bed, taking turns until he got used to the fact that when you put him down and the lights are off, it is bedtime. And I mean, we can talk much more in detail, and I hope you comment in the video down below about what your experience with baby and sleep has been. But halfway through the process, I'd say about a week in, baby did fall ill. We thought it was a mild form of measles, but he was running a temperature and he wasn't okay. So we sort of went the route of extra nurturing him, giving him the love that he needs when he needs it, feed when he feeds. So we stopped the program, we picked up again. 2 weeks into the program, all again, baby literally can go an entire night, I'm talking 11 to 12 hours, without even, he probably does wake up, but without us even hearing him waking up. He soothes himself to bed. He's in his own bedroom. He is comfortable, he's not afraid, and I never ever thought we would get to this point. So if you are struggling with your baby sleeping, I would advise that go and do some research as to your baby's age and find out how many hours of sleep he should be having at night. Also find out how many hours of awake time he should be having during the day. My baby's current awake time is 3 to 4 hours. And once you see how it fits into the schedule, you can then start to plot when he should be having his milk, when he should be having his meals. The moment that routine is in, you don't have to think, oh my gosh, is that a hungry cry? Is that a sleepy cry? Because there's a schedule. And now he knows, like now it's almost time for his nap time. Now he knows when the curtains get closed, okay, I'm being prepared for sleepy time, and I get put into bed. Now I know this is so abnormal. I'm not even gonna lie to you. My mom is struggling with the fact that he goes the whole night without a bottle. she literally was like, ooh, timawana. And the reason I'm holding this is his lovey. So he has a lovey that he sleeps with that sits in his crib. He sleeps in his sleeping bag. He goes through those 12 hours. It is very abnormal to someone like my mom. It's very unfamiliar, but it is working for us. So what I hope for all of you is that you can find something that works for you. Goodnight Baby is one of the companies that do sleep therapy, but go and explore, go and read, go and research. At the end of the day, especially if you're a working mom or a working parent, you don't need to be underslept. You actually can help your child sleep. And if you think about it, even us as adults, we need to train ourselves to sleep. We need to have good sleep hygiene, where you put your phone away at a certain time because of the blue light, that you need to know that you start winding down at a certain time. Don't eat a certain amount of time before going to sleep. So we all know those things, and we need to train ourselves as adults. So why wouldn't you need to train your baby? Looking forward to your comments and questions down below. I will answer as best as I can. Obviously, I'm not a sleep expert. I'm just a mom who went through this amazing program that we even got a certificate. Well, not we, my baby got his certificate to say he completed the program at 11 months. And maybe we can guide one another just as this woke mom community that's all trying to figure it out and just be living our own healthy, thriving lives, but watch our little ones live their little healthy, thriving lives.